listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good evening.
Hello.
Go ahead, Mike. Yep.
Hello all. Welcome to the Emerald Table, Kate of Gaia show. And yours truly here. Kate, how you doing?
Good. And it's actually outside the box. It's your show, damn it. Everybody's show, right? I'm just one of the cogs in the wheel, baby. I don't want to get into a whole lot tonight. I just want to share a couple of things with people because I've got some impossible things to dream because I've experienced impossible things, therefore impossible is not so impossible anymore, is it? And that's where the focus is going to remain. There's not a whole lot more at this level I can show people in terms of how to break spells and how to create them. Again, it all boils down to the pro, now, and saying of everything in your reality and which agreement you want to put into any space that is created, any black space that is created in the sigil. That's the space of creation, right? So when you understand that we are in a photo negative, living the illusion of a photo positive, you'll see the mirror very clearly, right? It's like this: if you take a document and suddenly reverse it from black writing on white paper to black paper or white writing on black paper, you have created far more space than the intendee. So that's a document in the mirror. You see, it's a space that you create in. And if the sigils, let's take just put a dot on a page, a white page, and there's the dot of intention. And contained within that dark is the creation. So if you can shape that into, let's see, what we would call a letter A, we have created the space of the letter A in the darkness of the letter that it's created. So that's where the spell is contained, within that darkness, within that creational void. When we put our intention into agreeing that it sounds like this or sounds like that or sounds like anything, then we are actually casting our intention into that dark void that was created by another in the form of a sigil. This is the mastering of the space. Not the writing on the page. It's the space I'm interested in, because you can't create in something that's already created unless you agree to it. And that's what the spellings have been all about for me, and breaking this to the point where we're at right now. So I just came off an hour ago, came off the show on nobordersradio.co.uk, where James jumped in and Bill jumped in, and Ben was hosting the table there. And we had a wonderful conversation. I'm not sure how many people were tuned in on that one, but just a wonderful conversation of changing perspectives. You see, and this is what we get so codified into a certain pattern, and it's the patterns we have to break. That's the pa turns, right? That is the intention turns. That's what an attorney is all about. So you become your own no-turn-e, no turn of consciousness with you, because when you can take a word, and I just did it a couple of times, and change the intent contained within the spell, turn, e, which is a. Now that can be French, to go somewhere. Turn, well, that can be a bird, or it can be a sound, or a direction. And e, of course, in the mirror is 9, which is consciousness. So it's time to turn consciousness, or a as a prefix in English means not. Asymmetric, which means not symmetric. All right, so this is how you change the intent contained within that space, originally only taken for granted as the space of a simple little letter. And the power of the letter kills or gives life. It depends on whose life you're giving that letter, yours or someone else's. And you change that very simply, where all contracts are made and broken or accepted, and that is in the mind. Go back to contracts, the essay, and you'll see that. Everything that you have decided to do had to first be agreed with spiritually first. If you decide to crack an egg, well, you have to think about picking the egg up, and you have to put the picture in your mind of what your intention is, and that's what you're creating. So you go and grab an egg and you crack it open. You know, as it was so eloquently put earlier, Sheila mentioned it about the egg. You know, if the egg breaks from the inside, it brings forth life, and if it breaks from the outside, well, you've killed it, haven't you? There's a very fine balance there. So this is about writing your book of life instead of living the book of the dead, which is all letters. The letter kills. It's been made very clear. You see, and the fraud contained within this is the game that we're playing. And there are points of our consciousness that are still trapped in that, and that's okay. I call those the intellectual retards. I was an intellectual retard once. That's why I know what it is. You see, I will not claim anything that someone may take as a negative. That's their fault. That's not my intention. But I will not claim anything that I have not experienced. I have experienced what it's like to be that whiny 5-year-old retarded idiot, intellectual retard, screaming in the cereal aisle when I finally decided that, well, you know what? I'm not getting anywhere. So I got up, grabbed a shopping cart, and grabbed the last box off the shelf. Don't worry, there's another box there, but they're only one at a time. And whether you decide to take the magic key or not, that's entirely up to you. If you're happy with this reality, then knock yourself out. The version of you in this reality will stay here. That's the Ver Shun. That's the truth shun. Or you can have the Ver Psi O-N, which is the truth of spirit in creation that's mine. So you write the script. It's either a truth shun or a truth created. You will stand in it, or you will defy it. And the universe gives you a catch-22. I've covered this many times. When you finally decide to accept reality for what reality is, and its magical kingdom, you don't have to accept that. That's entirely up to you. It's just what I've done. You know, we were talking earlier about what people do in terms of trying to help others. And I showed it very clearly that helping another is very detrimental. It's like I use the example of, you know, someone sitting on a street corner that you walk by and they're hungry. And they ask you, you know, please, you know, do you have, you know, a couple of dollars or something I can eat or whatever? Oh, of course, if I have, I will share. And if I come by that same corner tomorrow and the same individual sitting there and ask me the same question, I'll probably help out again. But I'm going to be a little bit more reserved about it, because then I'm going to start asking the question, is this something this individual needs, or is this something this individual wants? And that's a difference in the Scorpio in all of us, right? If you've got a, you know, sexual reproductive area, you have Scorpio. That's the difference between need and want. And there's a very fine line there. And I can make the allegory simple. Do you want a Ferrari, or do you really need one? Then that really is the difference. So when you go out of your way to give someone a hand up, that is the one wish grant. The wishes no longer come until you can grant that wish back in some way or another, whether it's to the individual or to all. I prefer all because it's a lot easier to do that. I act as a conduit in my reality. Things pass through me. They don't stop with me. And I get to be the neutral observer every time to see what someone or who is going to do what with what. You see, when we live in a world full of expectations, well, that's the mitten strings, you see. It's like people that would come to me and say, Kate, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I can honestly say, I've already helped you with that. And if you still don't have the answer, then I'm going to say, well, I like using the mortgage as an example, you know, for anyone that wants help there. And I said, well, use the exact same document you wrote for me. That might, create a little quandary there. That might make you see your mitten strings. So I use the mirror. Okay, well, and people say, well, I wasn't aware of you then. Well, I wasn't aware of you then either. And the only reason people are aware of who and what I am is because I made the effort to help all, you see. And not in the same way that most people are, I used to be I want to wake people up, but that's trespassing free will choice. That's trespassing your Christ consciousness to have the experience, whether it be a beautiful one or a shitty one, not your call. I'm trying to hand out the keys. As I found, I'm not helping anybody here. You see, by empowering you, I am helping me. Why would I not want the rest of me empowered into this state of being, where now we're co-creating, where we've become the spirit of co-creating path instead of the other version of the psychopath. The co can be a duality, or that makes things separate, or bring it together at the same time. And when you find the singularity, the single dot contained within every X marks the spot, then you'll balance it out and you'll neutralize it. And you will not get anywhere until you neutralize. You've got to see it from neutral eyes. New Trinity of all eyes. So by all means, I'll help you with your mortgage. I already did. You just don't have the patience. And I say this very, very lightly, guys. Right? I'm using it as an observational tool, because here's the truth of the matter. If anyone would ever think that I'm out to offend anybody, well, that's your fault, not mine. Because my intention has always been, to a greater or lesser degree, much greater now, the betterment of all. My first experience with that was when I was a kid on the playground and someone was sliding down an ice ramp. This is where it hit me. I recall everything that I need in my experience. And this kid was sliding down an ice slide outside in the winter. It wasn't the summer, of course. You see the redundancy? Anyway. And just as I got to the bottom, they almost fell, but I caught them. So they didn't fall. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And I got to tell you, I felt really special. I thought, wow, perfect place to be at the time. And, because there was pavement and they could have got hurt. So I took it upon myself for the rest of that recess to patrol. It was like, it felt good. It felt great to be able to help someone. And funny enough, I wasn't needed for the rest of that recess. But I got to tell you, that feeling never left. And I only had to experience it once. So if anyone is ever offended by things, say, well, that's your fault. You're the fucking retard, not me. You're the one that's judging what I'm saying as being good or bad. What all I'm trying to do is show you how the magic works in benevolence of all. For those that were just offended by me calling them a fucking retard, well, now you see what I'm talking about. Because until you can see the fact that you are a fucking retard like I did, you will never find the mirror of that. You will never see the contrast. You'll be caught in the duality of the psychopath. And you'll switch from one road to the other, and every time you jump over that wall, you will be Humpty on the other side. You will fall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men, they'll just bring a broom and a dustpan to clean you up. So really, this is what it comes down to. This is the individual choice. This is where God only helps those that help themselves. Well, instead of having a look at, let's say, any of the documents I have, the perspective of, whoa, look, I get to, and this is going to trap you. I'm telling you this right now, so you better be aware of this. You're going to get trapped in your own fucking greed. I promise, it will happen. That's when you become agreed to greed instead of not greed. When you agree with something, you're either not stepping with it. Agree means step. It also it's the etymology root of grade. This is what it means to make the grade, and how all of this stuff ties together. You can see this singularity when you do this long enough. If you approach things from the perspective, and you see, with me, it was always writing things that would help others, and I did it from a very selfish perspective of writing templates. Well, if it works for one, then it'll work for all, so I'm going to write from the perspective of shutting the whole damn thing down. And that was the start of my quest. That's where my experience of the contrast of having this free soul grabbed and trapped and literally thrown to the wilderness. That was my choice. By my actions, I was known. I was taking down the things that were, I saw it from the perspective of keeping not only my family safe but others, and showing them how to take down a quote unquote corrupt system. But the corrupt system is the co-rupt. It's a duality, you see. Rupt or rupture is to break. Co. Well, that's either a singularity or a duality, just like psychopath. Are you co-creating the rupture, or are you walking away from it? So I'll get it a bit clearer. If you have something that you need in your universe, I like using the mortgage because it's the death pledge is what a death pledge is, right? My documents aren't here to save your house. They're here to save everyone's. And the sooner you start taking on this game from that perspective, the sooner you're going to start winning. The sooner you're going to let go of your possessions, your spirit tax ions. The seed of spirit, possess, tax. Shuns? Well, that's why they need to be possessions, where you've been treating them as possess-io creation minds. That's the gimme gimme versus the give me. That's the push me pull you. Dr. Doolittle's two-headed llama shows you the truth of the reality of this universe and who and what you are. You will pull yourself one way and you will pull yourself the other way as long as you stay in a dualistic perspective. When you can finally see the singularity that runs through the middle of everything, then you'll balance it out. When you start treating things from the perspective of helping others instead of your own selfish, fucking mentally retarded, intellectual retard self, then you'll get what's going on here. And I promise you, not before it. Now, these may be things that people do not like to hear, but then I've never been one to go after popularity. Now, have I? Not interested in that. That's a fool's game. I've already been Percival, the first zero of the card, where I became the Giant's Dance, or the Giant's Causeway. It's just ironic I have the Giant's Causeway picture that I took in 2008 on my Facebook page. I had to look at that today. I thought, oh, yeah, well, that makes total sense now, doesn't it? All things for a reason. So this is the G-amps, or the G-mind, the creation, the half of Theta Causeway. I'm showing you how to put the other G on it. You can choose to do it or not. That's entirely up to you. I cannot make that choice for you because God only helps those that help themselves. So once you start helping yourself from the perspective of helping others, on the grand scheme, from a neutral position of, well, hey, listen, how many of you on the show tonight did I call direct to say, you better be at my fucking table or I'm going to beat the shit out of you? How many of you? Not a single one. You come here of your own free will choice, and you will leave and stay or do whatever it is based on that. That is free will choice, and I will not trespass. If you don't like what I have to say, then, well, you know the rules here. You don't like it, fuck off, and, suck your thumb long enough until you wake up to the fact that all I'm trying to do here is give you back your God keys. Oh, you will fight me. You will hate me. You will disagree with me, and you will rationalize yourself out of a beautiful reality. That's what egos and brains do. It's a very simple thing. Now have a look at it from this perspective. Think back to one moment in your life. And we all have. Have you ever experienced something that was just like fucking crazy ass? Wow. And no one's ever going to believe you, and no one's going to believe that you just experienced something that you would have previously deemed impossible. Have you ever had that feeling? Yeah, every hand went up. Well, here, let me share a few impossible things that I've experienced. And here's the joy of what I'm sharing tonight with you guys. What you experienced is yours. That's the prove for truth. You don't got to prove this to anybody but you. You is the intent, the self, in the magnetic electric me. You don't have to prove this to anyone, nor do you have to try to convince someone to believe you. Oh, please believe me, I had a time jump. Fuck you, I had a time jump. I already know that. And the neat thing is I actually had witnesses to it. Many witnesses, actually. So is time travel possible or impossible now? Well, in my world, it's completely possible. So I've taken the impossible and made it impossible. All right, so I'll give you a couple more. Okay, so time travel. Check. Got that one. That's good. That's totally possible because I've witnessed it. Check. So that reality's gone. Now everything in terms of time travel is completely possible because I experienced it. And the fact that it exists means so all I got to do is figure out how to do it. So now I have a target instead of a pipe dream. So let's think of something else. Oh, let me see. Something else that might have... Oh, can I change the world? Oh, yeah. I got 4 world records. Yeah, part of those. 4 world records. So check. Got that one. Now let's just do it even better. I got a double whammy where I changed the world in one event that anyone else would have thought completely impossible. Before a certain judge bowed to me, I thought it completely impossible. It never even entered my reality. It wasn't part of my reality. Since when does a judge bow to someone in a courtroom that supposedly they run? Well, it happened. You see, that's the thing that people missed about that video. They were too busy caught up in the fucking intellectual retard land of why and why the common law this and common law that and this statute and all the rest. Oh my God, there are millions of comments, and I mean that literally, millions of comments. And looks like Mike got bumped there, but we're still rolling here. So I got it. Continue. Do not click the button. Continue is the only one you look at there, or just close the box. Okay, we don't show prematurely. Okay, so there's the one. Judge Bat. Okay. Yeah, that, did any of you prior to that believe that? No. Did I? No. Because I'd never seen it. Not from any court movie or show I ever saw did that ever happen. The only thing I ever saw in a courtroom were lawyers and all the rest of these fucking meat sticks walking in. Other meat stick points of me, right? I laugh. It's fun. I get to see the contrast in me. It's beautiful. I watch them walk in and bow their head to this male or female. That doesn't matter. I mean, one of the things that's going to happen in my reality is, first these guys are going to learn how to accessorize or lose the robes altogether. And I don't think they're going to accessorize, so I guess that's gone. Did the Judge Bowed video change the world? Well, there's a double check on changing the world. Absolutely it did. It changed it overnight. So, and I got to tell you, it took a few days, but it hit me. I said, holy shit, I changed the world. And I did. I think arguably in terms of any sort of, quote, free man bullshit movement, quote, that is probably the most viewed video of all. And not one individual during the whole time up until this point, right now, ever saw that as an impossibility becoming possible. They were too busy trying to prove or disprove it. Can I let you all in a little secret? It fucking happened. It's like these 9/11 conspiracy theorist monkeys. Can I let you guys all in a little secret? They fell. Moving on. It happened. And I'm sure there are many people. There's another one, that impossibility, that people in their minds would never have imagined in their minds 3 buildings coming down in one day in the heart of Manhattan, New York. Well, there's an impossible. It fucking happened, didn't it? There are many people that didn't believe that a world war in 1914 could happen because the summer of 1914 was the epitome of all of Europe getting along. But somebody thought it was possible, planted that seed and nurtured it and grew it. And everyone bought into it, and millions of lives later, it was possible. There are many people that thought traveling to the moon, whether it happened or not, is irrelevant. The thought of it being possible was all it took. So we are pigeonholed into our own reality by the impossibilities that we think we must live by. And there are in an infinite reality, infinite imagination, there is nothing that is impossible. Everything is inevitable. And all you have to do in order to counteract anything you think to be impossible, just remember the things that you thought impossible that happened. That nullifies that again. So this is where you begin. The dreamed becomes the dreamer, instead of the dreamer becoming the dreamed. And these are the keys I like handing out. Let's have another one. Did I ever think that I would see space-time continuum rip in front of me? No, but it did. Space-time rip. I got to look at it for about 3 hours. It was quite interesting. Space-time rip. Yeah, check. That was impossible. Oh, another one. Did I ever think it was possible for me to wake up in the middle of the night and have someone witness me speaking an entirely different language that didn't even sound this world? Yeah, that happened. Yeah, that was January 1st of 2011. I believe 2012, rather. January 1st of 2012. And I was sleeping, and I know what date it was, because it was New Year's Eve. Sue and I got back to the house, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. We got a Saturday morning show. Was it 2012 or 2011? I think it was 2011. Anyway, irrelevant. The point being, we were heading to the radio show, and Sue had said to me, do you remember talking in your sleep last night? And I said, no, I was out cold. As far as I was concerned, I was like 2 sheets to the wind, no worries. And he says, you were talking in your sleep? And I said, well, that's not unusual. I do that on occasion. I've even woke myself up. Hell, I woke up speaking Latin. There's another one. Woke up speaking Latin. That's another interesting one. That was impossible, apparently. Speaking Latin. Yeah, there's another check. And I said, no, I didn't. I didn't realize. Of course, I was sleeping. He says, no, well, she said I couldn't sleep, so I was just lying there. Then you sat bolt upright. Just sat straight up. You went in, like, the L seat that they do in gymnastics. She said it was weird. You just sat up. It was like something lifted you. And then you started to talk like you were talking to someone, but it was not in the language I understood, and it didn't sound like anything that I've ever heard in any language on Earth, basically. And I said, oh, isn't that interesting? She said, yeah, you went on for about a minute, and you were asking questions and answering questions and stuff like that. And then she said, I tapped you and asked if you were okay, and you just stopped for a second, and then you resumed until the end of the conversation, which was about another minute or two later. But you were talking to, it was like you were talking to someone in a completely different language of nothing I've ever heard before. And I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. So there's another possible speaking weird language. Yep. So these are all the little things that I look at as being at once impossible becoming possible. So we got time travel, change the world, Judge Bath, world records. I mean, this list goes on and on. There are many things. Just have a look at the things in your life that, oh, fuck, no one's going to believe me when I tell them this. Have you ever tossed a coin that landed on its edge? Well, you see, by all accounts, that would be impossible, wouldn't it? But it's happened, every one of you. Is it impossible that you're going to pick up the phone to call someone, and just so happens that before the phone even rings, that they're calling you, and you've picked it up before it rang? Now, if you were to think to go and do that, you would think it's impossible, yet it's happened. So this is the dreamland where we learn how to become the impossible again. where the impossible, not possible, becomes the I'm possible. And every one of these impossible things that you have experienced are absolute and factual proof of the inevitable. And what you choose to put energy into in your reality is that what you experience. Another one. Did I think it was impossible for a cop to come right up behind me, expired plates and tags and all the rest of it, and not see me? I know it's entirely possible because it happens all the time. Not all the time, but I laugh. I do. I just laugh because I know it's not in my reality, because it is entirely and completely possible, after being tailed and hassled for so long, to finally become invisible. Not even invisible to the degree that untouchable, be afraid, go around me, run away. I'm far too much for you to handle, 1, and 2, I don't play the Marsha drama games. Sorry guys, I just don't. And I haven't got time for that experience. It is so childish. I have no interest in it. So I don't give it any energy. And that's where you put your attention. That's where your energy goes. The same way that someone says, "Well, what would you do if you got pulled over because this?" Well, that's your reality. It's not mine. Look what you're creating for yourself. And I hand that steaming pile of dog shit right back. Well, there you go. I guess that's what you're wishing on me, so you get to experience it. I have no need. Already have. Enjoy. Yeah, might be a little bit of shun. Yeah. Shun the cause on this one. Anytime anyone wants to ask me a question regarding that, because I'm just going to mirror it right back, and you will experience it. Because it ain't mine. I didn't create it. It's yours. I choose what I accept in my reality and what I don't. That's what God does. God creates their own reality in their own image. I'm not here to make history. I'm here to make my story. My story, my reality, my game. And that's the same thing with every one of you. Every different points of me out there, all the magnetic electrics. We call it consciousness. You call it whatever you want. That's why me and you, that's the magnetic electric. That's the beautiful union of the singularity. The magnetic electric me with the intent of you, the international symbol for electricity. And the cow did jump over the moon. That's why it's moo. Just depends on how you arrange it. And there's your H2O. Right? There's your 2 hydrogens. Right? Your intent, you, and electricity, creation, consciousness, the 9. Where the O, the creation, there only needs to be one, is the divine feminine. And the divine feminine is silent. And the only ones that got it right, the only language that got it right was ancient Greece. It's the only language on the planet that the M is silent. And only in the silence can you create. That's why you got to meditate. That's why you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. But you see, I'm one of. I can say I'm lucky, but I'm not. I've actually worked at this, and I did it in the form of songwriting and whatever. So I generally walk around in a constant state of silence anyway, and just allow downloads. When you find yourself thinking too much about something, then shut up. Because that's your chitter-chatter monkey going off trying to prove that you're an intellectual retard again. We've already proven that with ourselves, that yeah. Being intellectual is the most detrimental and most beneficial. Unfortunately, most people think that being intellectual is beneficial. No, using intellectual is beneficial. Being intellectual is detrimental. Everything's a quad, remember? Everything's a 4. Where's the plus and minus on both sides of that equation? And when you find them, there's your 0 point. You've neutralized it. And everything you neutralize works for all of consciousness. So why did I go about doing what I did? Well, I just felt that was my life path, and it is. But I'm not here to save anything. I'm not here to save anyone. I am both Neil, the Capricorn Christ on the knees to all. It's allegory. It's not, oh, you're so right. No, it's an allegory. It's about finding the calm and the peace, guys. And the one wish grant. Because I am both parts of that. And the one wish grant is very simple. If a wish is granted to you, if there's something you need and it shows up, then you have your wish granted. You have a spiritual obligation now, if you're going to accept that which you need, to create for others. Or you will have that gift removed. That's what it means to be fluid. That's what it means to be the water, to take the form of everything and anything. It's an allegory. Can you let things pass through you, or do you stop love? State. Stay is to stop something, or stay is to hold something. Hold your ground. You stay right there. You stop the execution. It's a stay of execution. So let me explain what a state of grace really is in a quad. You're either holding love or you're stopping love. That's state. That's your state of being. Now the of course, is the ultraviolet, UV. Or you can spell it OF. I just prefer to use the colors. It works better for me. Because I am the ultraviolet. That's Phoenician, the high purple. And these, again, are just allegories. They're tools to observe the spiritual realm that is unknowable and unobservable. That's why we created this, so we can experience ourselves. All right, so we have a state of, let me see. State of grace. I love grace. Because grace is the gratitude of creation. In the space between the A and the C, I insert whatever letters I want, whatever size I want. That's the lesson of Alice in Wonderland being big and small. If you're pigeonholed into one size fits all, you've left a lot of space, haven't you? And if you leave enough space, someone else will create in that space for you. I'm just trying to show you how to shut that door, where you don't let anyone into your space, into your creation. And everything that you allow in, that you let into your creation, that you agree with, well, those are the things. Those are the very things that are going to hold you or propel you. So you can let fear paralyze you or propel you. It will do both. It's quite simple, actually. So state of grace, that would be the holding of love in the ultraviolet gratitude of creation. Or it can be the stopping and the crucifixion of consciousness state of underviolet. It can be ultra and under. Of grace. So you've stopped it. You had it solved. It stay, right? You're either going to hold it or you're going to stop it. I chose to hold it. Hold the gratitude instead of stopping the gratitude. That's what a state of grace is. So get outside your little boxes that you have built around yourselves. You've built quite the case file, quite the case file for yourself. The spirit of creation and the creation with intent. And if you have a case file, well, maybe you might want to use that for a different intent. But none of this is going to matter literally for you until you get this. You need to get the 0 point. This is where you're going to start creating a serious cause. You're going to start stirring the pot. I had it brought up to me today about why I don't sign any documents. Any essays I write, it's by Kate of Gaia. And it's not because I'm special. Well, I already told you, you're all the spirit of love, ultraviolet, spirit of creation. The Gaia. G can be a K, can be an S too, or a C. So say, which is creation. Ya. You might want to finish that with way. That's the name. The yes way. No one comes onto the Fa, Theos, into consciousness, Rho, except by magnetic electric, except through me. So you better throw it. Just going through it. It will run you through or run you through. It will stab you or toss you into a better reality. Or a lesser one, you choose. It's all in the sounds and your intentions contained within them. And of course, I'm going to keep doing what I do, because every word I dispel and every word I make a singularity out of nullifies that spell. But that's not saying that I'm going to do it and you have to sit back. No. See, that's the want. That's the 5-year-old retard sitting in the cereal aisle screaming. No, this is all about showing you how to get the shopping cart and do it for yourself. This is handing that guy in the corner, a fish or two the first day, or a sandwich, better yet. And then on the third day, because it's like, oh, it's just expected of me now. Oh, okay. The minute you expect something is the minute you get the unexpected. That's how the mirror works. If you are expecting someone to save you, then by definition, in the mirror, you will be destroyed. And the more you expect others to do things for you, just because you think they can, you're already aberrated to the point of mitten strings are tying you down. Those are puppet strings. And the butterfly will never fly if it's in a pupae or a pupa. You might pronounce puppet either way. If you're expecting somebody to do something for you just because they can, well, that's the mirror you're going to have to wear. And this is the fine line I really try to get across to people. I've walked it. I tripped over it many times. I expect nothing from anyone. And everything from everyone, because I am all. What I get is what it's like this. If you want to walk out into a field with empty pockets, don't expect a harvest. You've got to be the one planting the seeds into consciousness, your consciousness and all. And I'll tell you, the seeds that I plant, I definitely changed my reality, and I've changed yours as a result, because you're in my reality. Of course I have. That is my reality. And vice versa. We all co-create each other. And the better the ideas that we can share at this table, the more we can agree with on a betterment for all, the faster that happens. But don't expect it. Be a part of it. And again, just because somebody has something that you need, don't expect it from them. That's an obligation, not a gift. And every obligation is what? It's a fucking debt. I prefer being happily surprised and happily surprising others. But it's still a one-wish grant here. And you don't get your power of wishing back until you grant a wish. And that wish must be for the benevolent and betterment of all. This is how clear-cut this is. And that's your Scorpio. Everyone's got it. Like I said, I don't pick on one zodiac because I know that every zodiac is in everybody out there. That's the whole game. I already showed you what So Dios AC is. Why it is the zodiac. Well, you have the So, which is S-O-W, to sow seeds. Dios, I finish off that. I can put O-S in between the I and the C. And of course I can reuse the I again, or the A sound. So now I have alternating current. So I'm sowing the seeds of God into the alternating current, which is the two energies, the masculine and the feminine, the two diametrically opposed, the oil and water, that never meet, never touch. They come awful close, though, but there's always an energy between them. And the 0 point you'll find in the feminine, the circle you will find in the masculine. There's your dot inside the circle. You see, inside every dot we built, this is how I see it, we built the Trinity in the box And then the circle, the trinity in the box, and the circle, and trinity in the box, infinitely larger, infinitely smaller. Creates a beautiful fractal. It's a mirror reflecting itself. And what I'm here to do is just bust some of these little mirrors that have us refracting light in other ways than we choose. And there is no harm, no foul here. All is fair in love and war. It depends on what side you want to stand on. Or if you want to play the game like a master, stand in the middle and see both. I'll tell you, you'll never be offended by anybody ever again. Because you'll be in a position of saying, I have no intention of offending anyone, and guess what? That's the thing. No one can offend me because I don't have that intention. And if anyone is offended, well, that was yours, not mine. Let me put it this way. The things that I am sharing are things that I have found as part of my journey that I am sharing with all. Whether you use it or not, that's yours. But they're the master keys of creation. Bitch, I am, eh? We're getting back to putting the name to something. It's not about, nothing to do with ego. Nothing at all. So I'll write an essay by Gate of Gaia because of, I got 4 world records, a judge bowed to me, and I'm well known for, stirring the pot. There are a lot of people out there that when they get documents from me, they shit themselves, and that's my intent. So I like to share that intent with others. You want to make people shit themselves? Drop your name in the mix. Kate of Gaia, that's who you are. What part of me isn't you? When I sign anything, like in terms of putting a name to it, that's just a moniker. It's just a stage name. I said that. All the world's a stage name I use. I've used many. I've been called bitch. Yeah, I'll answer to that. Asshole. Yep, I'll do that one too. Super cunt. Yep, I've been called that a few times. Love it. I've been called sweetie. I've been called dear. I've been called honey. I've been called Kate. I've been called many things. If I answer to it, that's my name. That which I choose to accept is the name I choose, and the name of God is unknowable because it's all names. It's all ways. So for me, it's like putting a little bit of a firecracker on a document because the people that get these things know exactly who it is that I am. I made it very clear. I made it in no uncertain terms very clear. I am a force to be reckoned with. Not a force. That's their job. I'm power source. I am the creator and generator of my reality. As are you. Oops. Okay, I got Ninja once on the board here. I'm wondering what happened to Mike. Hey, Ninja. Oh, there he is.
Wow. Hey, Kate. Hey, Ninja.
You made it back.
Yeah, I don't know how either.
Well, I just asked about you, so of course you showed up. Because I'll tell you, the instant you logged in was the instant I called. I know vibrational matching when I see it.
Mm.
So, anyway, yeah, Ninja jumped in here. We got Mark on the board and myself as well. I'm going to hang out for about another, 5-10 minutes here, and then you guys can take it from there. Maybe discuss some of the things that you want to do to change the entirety of humanity based on your actions. And when you think in terms of all, you will change the world in terms of all. People keep thinking that they're going to save their own little fucking universe, their little, meat stick pie in the middle of nowhere, and then stay at it. That's all you're ever going to have. And you're going to have a hell of a fight now because, people are... See, this is the contrast. People are... I read a story today. I laughed. I thought it was quite funny. Some guy got beat to death by a bunch of cops. And what made me laugh was they only did that after they asked him for identification. Take the hint, guys. That's where we're at. You got some identification? Yeah. Blam, blam, blam. That's where the game's at. You're already dead anyway. So it's the dead carrying out the dead. Know who you are. The joy of this table is you do. And your intent is different. You're not the ones that are walking around willy-nilly saying that this is my reality and I am a meat stick and I am a piece of paper. No. See, you're outside of that box now. That's why that will never enter your reality. Because you get it. impossible, what used to be possible of cops interfering, say, in my reality, is now impossible for them to do. So I've taken the possible and made it impossible, where I'm now taking the impossible and making it possible. There's your quad. Be the mirror. Shape your reality. Get to zero. Get to 0.int. Creation of spirit breath through the spirit seed of the I, the yes, the self, the yes way, the Yahweh that is mine and infinite unconditional love. You get there? Oh, the world's your oyster, baby. Just like the Bandersnatch in Alice. She knew it was just a dream, and nothing could hurt her. So she stood in the face of this monstrous Bandersnatch, cat-type creature with claws and everything else. It had just nicked her previously, before, because she was doubting that herself that somehow this dream was real, and she got cut with it. But then she turned around and stood her ground, and the Bandersnatch right up to her face and stopped. I had that experience with Mr. Cutting. It was beautiful. And I watched the guy explode in front of me. It's amazing. You can, literally hold a grenade in your hand and watch it go off. Spiritual energies, right? People say, well, it's impossible if you fall out of an airplane and you have a parachute and it doesn't open. There's no possible way you're going to live. Many people have. Some people have actually hit the ground, bounced, got up, and walked away from 10,000 feet. Tell me what's impossible about that now. Only the level that you agree that it is impossible will it affect you. So for me now, there's nothing impossible here because I'm possible and I'm going to shape my reality. So why don't you guys start talking about what is absolutely, completely possible? Because it's going to be inevitable anyway. That's why we're here, to experience all things. So accept all things. Aladdin, we're good? Yeah, I trust you. Let's go. Party. OW, Neil, I'm in the back seat. Take her away. James, home. Don't spare the whores. And this is where we're at. And every day it just gets clearer and clearer for me. And hopefully I'm spelling it out clearer and clearer for you to get your spell casting ability back. Remember, you create into the void the dark, not the light. You are the light that you generate from the most dark 0 point within you. That's your heart. You have the white heart and the black heart all at the same time. Get in the middle, and now you've got your 0 point to create. So start dreaming the impossible dreams, because they're not impossible. Time travel? Possible in my world. I witnessed it. Pretty cool. Magic tricks, that's all this place is. Right? So be careful with the electrics. They might convince you otherwise. Yeah, so Ninja, what's on your mind? I know it's late where you are, hon, so I'll hear from you before I head out. And of course, Mark.
I was only going to tell you to look in your Skype window for a message from me, but that is now irrelevant. So that was my only real reason for jumping in. But hello, everybody, and goodbye, everybody. I'll get to bed.
There you go.
Actually, no, I woke up this morning, and or was it yesterday? Do you know, I don't know, because all the days run together in my life now, and it's just brilliant. I'm not following a calendar or a clock. But, I woke up, I said to you on the air the other night, it's all a din, do you remember? And I was talking about a reference to Aladdin, and I had it all a din, but didn't get the rest of it until I woke up. And the rest of it is, it's all a din until you have the ears to hear, and then the noise becomes, now I see. And there you go.
That's all it takes. And Aladdin, all, there's your allness, right? law, the note to get you to love, Dios mine. All the law of God mine. Open sesame, you're damn straight. Say, magnetic electric. What do you say? Huh? What do you say? What do you create? When you get the concept of neutralizing words into a singularity, start playing. You'll see. You'll see for yourself. You'll prove it to yourself. I can't prove it to you. I have many times. I know that. But you won't believe it. You really won't know it until you experience it yourself. Right? So for those of you that are worried about this, that, and the other, just start taking from the closest possible and measure it against something you've experienced that was what you deemed to be impossible. Something real only to you. Something that only you experienced. Because only you can bring that home and going, wait a minute, that's absolutely impossible. That was mind-bendingly crazy-ass shit. That's you proving, for-truthing, you, that it's just a dream. And that you can change this dream anytime you want. You can create a better reality. But you have to stop buying into the old one first. So start looking at all the things that possess you emotionally. Anything that gives you a little tug on the heartstrings. Cut that fucker. Because you're all things anyway. There is nothing you can lose and nothing you can gain at the same time. Because all things, everything came out of nothing. So of course, for me, to have nothing was perfect. That's exactly what I wish on all those that wished me nothing. Thank you. Thank you, because look what I got. I got my reality. So did anyone harm me? In a dualistic way, yes. In a singularity way, no. In a dualistic way, yes and no. It's really simple. It's about having gratitude. I could not be more thankful for everything I experienced because it got me here in a fucking hurry, didn't it? A lot of people are still, wow, how did you... You've only been in the game, what? This game particularly? Maybe 3.5 years? And I went from 0 to... There's not many people on this planet in the truth movement don't know who I am. And it's not because I am a loudmouth, there's no question there. I make a point of it. But it's because I climbed to the highest roof I could find, and I yelled with the loudest truth I could feel. And because of that, God helps those that help themselves. That's what love is, the law of truth. And the more you stand in the truth, the more armor you get, and you don't need it, by the way, and the more ability you get back. The more response ability you take, the more response ability you get. So don't think you're going to be able to give life to things if you cannot take responsibility upon yourself. And that mirror is blinding. It's inside you. You can look at everything, and I'm going to remove all the gold, the love of gold, the guilt. I'm going to remove all of that from you. You haven't made a single fucking mistake. You haven't done a damn thing wrong. You can't, not in the all mind. Sorry, it's just impossible. We have the illusion that makes it possible. So there's a nice conundrum there again, another paradox. You got to love these paradoxes. They're everywhere. That's what creation is.
Kate, I just saw when you said that can't do anything wrong, in the all mind. But I just thought, do you remember when you were a kid, if you were lucky, you got one of those Etch-a-Sketch things for Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that, isn't it? It doesn't matter what you do on there because you just shake it or whatever it was. Start again because nobody gets hurt in the big picture.
No, you just shake it clean.
You just think you do, yeah.
Yeah, it's the illusion. That's why, people say, well, that's awful heartless, Kate. Some guy got beat to death by some cops, and I was just, how is it heartless? I'd say it's absolutely heartful because it's showing the contrast from another point of me. And I'm very grateful that point of me and that point of you wasn't me. I don't need to play that game anymore. I've experienced that. And not only that, I get to, there it is. It's in the experience. It's in the all mind. Everything is in the all mind. It's all in your mind. So lose the guilt, guys. Seriously. Those are heartstrings that are pulling you. And I went through all of that in terms of looking at things that, I wish I'd have done that differently, what I would do, what I wouldn't do. And now it's strictly from a perspective and a free will choice of things that I would want to experience and things that I already have or would not want to experience. Again, I already have. It's boring. It's rerun. And there are many people out there that keep that loop going. Well, that experience really sucked. I better feel that again. And they keep doing it, and they keep picking the same fights. You know? It's hilarious. And like I said, I'm working on me. And as a result of working on me, the best way to work on me is to work on behalf of all, because you are me. It only makes sense. You know, it's like I look back and the quote, people I helped, unquote, in terms of the early games when I was playing the legal stuff and having, you know, like seriously, up to the house, I had a 100%, 1,000 batting average. But when it came to me, well, the universe showed me how much I had accomplished standing in truth up to that point, and it stripped everything from me in one night. Some people take it, it's like this. Do you want the death by 1,000 cuts or one through the head? I took the one through the head. Thanks. Then I was born again as a result. Because you're going to be reborn either way. Either you want to go through the death by 1,000 cuts, typical meat stick fashion, or you just stand at the post and you put one through my fucking head so I can get this over with and get reborn quick. It's all allegory. So choose. You want the 1,000 cuts? Knock yourself out. You enjoying it? No, I'm good with the one straight through. Then I move on from there. And what roles we play in this game from whatever perspectives we're in is all equally responsible. It doesn't matter what you would deem to be a contrast of status in life. We're all one. It's what are you doing with the tools? What are you doing with creation? What are you molding of the reality? These are the internal choices that you have to take on for yourself. You don't have to, actually. The 1,000 cuts working for you. Stay at her. You're doing great. Yeah, people that want help from me, well, that's what I do every night. I don't know what part of this isn't helping others, but it's helping me from that perspective of helping others. If they want to pick up the fishing rod, it's there. All the instructions on how to use it, as per what I've learned to do and what I've learned to use and how I've been able to land monster fish and take on an entire system. Do you think it's impossible for the entire system to come down? Fuck no. Not me, anyway. You can think it's impossible. I already know it's entirely possible because I've done it so many times I've lost count, watching little pieces of it fall off. And people wonder, why are bankers jumping out of the window? Well, that's the allegory of the system falling down.
I've seen pieces falling off here and there. Mm-hmm. Definitely, and very recent ones as well. I haven't shared them on the air either, so I'm going to do that now that you say that, because we had one of my contacts on Facebook came to me about 2 weeks ago, having difficulty with a local council, getting them off of his back, and I had written something which I sent out as an email to various groups. It's like a format. You've seen it, Kate, that thing I wrote that, to send to the CEOs and all that sort of shit. Well, anyway, I said to him, use that and just put every name you can find in it, and I helped him find a load of names, and he put that in there and he sent it off to them. And anyway, they wrote back and they said not to the name, they wrote back just to the people at the address. I haven't seen the letter yet, so I can't quote it, but it was along the lines of, we're going to be removing all the named persons off of our register for this address.
Yeah, just like that.
Like that. Now, obviously, I want a little bit more than that. We're hoping we're going to get them to put something in. Well, it would be nice, wouldn't it, if they insert instead of leaving it blank, insert, living beings are here,
Well,
That'd be cool.
there's the magic. You had a wish granted. Now give one back. You see, and here's the joy of making a wish like you have done. You've already given and taken the wish, all in one motion. The wish is to help others. So through your efforts, you're helping yourself. You see, so you're getting the ability, like I get all the time, to share these beautiful little victories. But we're doing it on behalf of all. That's the difference. If you're doing it on behalf of all, that it's pretty much instantaneous.
It was beautiful, but I mean, obviously, as I said, I didn't read it, but I don't need to read it. The report came back as, wow, they said they're going to take the names off of the registration for the property. I'm like, okay, great. How about we come to insert sovereigns here or something, and then that helps you work the rest of the system from there on out. Because it's piecemeal sometimes, and we want that, to take always progress, massive progress. Otherwise, what we're doing. But the other little piece that fell off of the system is, we have no mailbox that we haven't had for months, and we got a message from the person who lives at an old address that they had received contact from the local council where we are saying, can you get post over to him over there? They can't post us.
See, that's
crazy.
Well, yeah. See, and take it back out of the literal to show what's going on spiritually here.
Yeah.
Right. This is why I use the story of the two bells ringing, where sound travels and spiritual resonance travels at the same time. Only a spiritual intent can travel through the vacuum. Sound cannot. Sound is a physical manifestation. It's measurable, whereas resonance is only witnessed. You can't. You see, that's the thing about resonance. That's where you get the heart zone. When you resonate with others, that's when you no words for it. You just know it. You just, whoa, there it is. So what you're doing there is not only solving things within your immediate surroundings, your reality, which will shift based on how much you're putting out there in terms of helping others. And that's one of the joys of this table and criticalmassradio.co.uk. Because I'm going to tell you, and I love being able to say this, this is the only table, the Emerald Table is the only table that you can all come to and know that you are the cutting edge of consciousness. Nowhere else on this planet does this exist. We're the ones shaping the reality.
Yeah, definitely. And just take part, absolutely find something you can do that you're comfortable with for yourself and for others. It's always for others anyway. But, if you help yourself ultimately, as you've just said, Kate, it helps somebody else, because now we know that this can happen. We can say to somebody else, well, look, we've already seen it happen. So put that in your mind and let's do it for you as well.
Well, see, that's the singularity. When you realize that you are part of the all. This is the one thing I really have a hard time getting through to people. What part of this is why I talk third party, because when I speak of the all, I'm including me anyway. So when I do something for the all, I'm doing it for me. It's neutral. And when I do something for me, I'm doing it for all. Everything I do, I have to weigh that out. I have to make sure it's weightless. Like anything I want to go out and do, I better justify it to myself. I'll tell you, the only thing I've actually done for myself in the last couple of weeks was last weekend. I decided I'd like to feel better. I'm going to show you a really prime example of this too. Now remember, transgendered, okay? Remember this. The better I feel about myself, the more empowered I am. So I do play on occasion. So it wasn't much either. I got myself a nice new dress. I feel, actually, I'm wearing it tonight. It's kind of funny. Feels great. Like you walk up to a girl and you say to her, well, how much is that lipstick worth? They'll say a couple of bucks. To me, it's priceless. There's no price on it.
I'm hearing you, Kate. We've had this conversation a few months ago, didn't we? And it's progressing, and it's wonderful, really, because it's like the butterfly finally realizing, wow, that's me. Yeah, look at that,
We had that, and it was kind of neat because we were talking about makeup, and you think, I never wear the stuff and whatever, and it says, yeah, doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, you see, this is the thing, isn't it? It's when you have the option. Exactly. Yeah. I don't have to care. I don't have to do my nails and all that shit. I mean, you know what? I'm like a bag lady walking around most of the time. It's like, wow, the person that used to live in London wouldn't even be seen dead the way this person walks around. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, right. Now here, I'll show you the allegory of who I am in Shrek. I am Fiona, the ogre, and Fiona, the princess. Yeah,
and
the ogre
used to be princess, and now I'm the ogre.
Right, so, for me, it's like the ogre has to scrape certain hair off, has to put certain things on in order to find Fiona. So that's where I neutralize that balance within me, and I've told people for years, I'm just a clue. I am just a clue, a nail in that cross, if you will. Clue en français. It's like the dumb carpenter hasn't got a clue, so he can't build anything. He has no nails.
Yeah.
All right. So,
yeah.
But on that note, I'm gonna rock here, Ninj, because
take a break. You've been at it.
Yeah. Just and I did get started on the Shrek thing, so I'm actually more intrigued with Alice in Wonderland because it spells it out even clearer. Well, it's probably because I can see it even clearer. If I watch Shrek, I'd see the same thing I saw in Alice in Wonderland, which I did anyway. So guys, nothing is going to hurt you. Nothing.
It's certainly been my experience in this life. I've said this to somebody. I was on Truth Due stage show earlier tonight. I managed to get on for a few minutes before I fell off again. But anyway, that was nice. But I did say, I have had a very easy ride in this lifetime. Obviously, done a lot of shit in other lives that I didn't need to do this time around. So thanks for that. Helping myself out there. And maybe I've come in for a few things. There's nothing too painful, and I'm aware of that actually every day because I see and hear some things and I'm like, wow, really? I don't know where people get the strength from. It's always amazing to me, and the courage to keep going. And I hear these stories. I'm always so grateful that wasn't my story this time around.
Well, yeah. Now, just to give you an example of how you can change the intent and what is really being said, you've heard me say this a few times out of the Elite Manifesto. If but one shall awaken, we are all doomed. Oh, okay, we're judged, but I'll tell you something else. Well, judged. There's no judgment, so that's going to be a snake eating its own tail. So I thought, oh, wait, let's have a look at that again. Well, doomed, D-O-O-M-E-D. Okay. Well, the O-O can make a U sound. Isn't that interesting? So what is it really saying? Oh, dumbed.
Dumb.
If someone is dumb, they are either ignorant or silent. So if but one shall awaken, we are all silenced. And that's what it is. That's the spirit of the intent in the minds.
And interestingly, in Dutch, if you have two O's, it's not an oo sound like in English, it's an O sound. So doomed would sound like domed. So then you've got the dome.
Yeah. So, that's what it means to be, in a kingdom or a wisdom. So the Wizard of Silence. When you become the Wizard of Silence, you become the Wizard of Oz. And you watch Oz materialize around you. I know, I do all the time. So, on that happy note, anything else anybody else wants before I boogie out of here? And I should probably, I'll get you guys to do the shout-outs. 42 minutes left in this hour. If you guys are going to roll over, Mike's got the board. You can call in 661-467-2401. And, of course, Skype in through the Blog Talk page. If you're on the Blog Talk, just refresh and the Skype button's there. Follow your nose. Once you're on the board, hit 1 on your keypad. Open the dial pad on Skype and hit 1 there. That lets us know that you want in the conversation. Put your hand up and jump in. This is your table. And this is why I'm increasingly moving away from it so that you can take full ownership of it. But don't get caught in the literals. Oh, the ego and the left brain loves the literals. Keep it a little anagogic. Start looking for the why. Everything in the physical is a literal representation of an anagogic allegory. And when you learn how to read the allegories, then you learn how to write them and then recreate your reality using them. So it's like if someone, I could write this very simply, spirit mind. You might spell it as science. Silence, well, I will say it as the spirit of intent mind. Entirely different meaning, isn't it? But that's the change of the intent. That's the change of your magic. So I'll let you guys finish off the shout out. Anything else anybody want before I go?
Not from me. Go and have a good time. Enjoy your evening. What's left of it?
I will. You too, and get some sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to bugger off myself soon. I'll make sure the lads are all right, and then I'm going to go off.
There you go. Mike, Mark, anything? Seeing as no one else has their hand up that I can see.
Okay, Kate.
You good?
Yeah, beautiful.
I haven't heard from Mark yet. His mic's open.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, I know. He's been here the whole time. He just hasn't said anything. Say something, you prick.
I hope he didn't fall asleep. It's late where he is.
Oh, he might have. Oh, well. Hey, listen, it wouldn't be the first time it's happened, and it certainly won't be the last. Falling asleep on the air is impossible. No, it's not. Hell, we've had people snoring on the air. It's friggin' awesome.
It wasn't me. I definitely wasn't me doing the snoring.
I know it was. I know it wasn't you.
But
it wasn't me.
I do snore. I'm a horrendous snorer, so, but I know it wasn't me. I never did fall asleep on the air. Not yet.
Right on. Well, we have Brawny Zone just jumped in here, so I'll head out after their comments.
Oh, hey, Kate.
Hey, how are ya?
Yeah, I'm good. Beautiful day in New Zealand. We have beautiful warm weather and lots of sunshine.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So see, for everyone who's... Oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah, this is my first week at Tech, starting my journalism course.
There you go.
Yeah, it's great.
Just like that.
Just like that. Yeah, I've been a crazy blogger for 3 years. So this seems to be the natural next step.
Well, again, it's what you do with your reality, right? I'm just here to tell you, I'm that nagging whore in the back of your mind saying, "You're God. Wake up, Will I Am. Wake up." That's it.
Yeah. I want to tell you a little story, Kate, before you run away.
Sure.
Well, 2 little stories actually.
Oh, now you're getting greedy. Oh, keep going.
The first one will be really brief.
That's all good. No, I just do that to see if I can get your goat. It's good.
And I have a question. We've got lots of cicadas chirping.
Oh, nice.
Are they disturbing in the background?
Oh, God, no. I love the sound of those anyway.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, my first littlest story is that I've already been able to talk about what the corporate government really is and those sorts of topics on 3 or 4 occasions so far in my class.
Nice.
Yeah. So people are getting that there's a bit of a weirdo in the room and that they might want to listen up a bit.
It's always the weirdos that change the world, you know that. So start getting weird.
Yeah, I'm always weird.
Drives me nuts when people can't just be, you know. Listen, here's the pot calling the pan black ass, all right? I spent a lifetime trying to prove myself wrong for who and what I am, when it was actually the very thing that was right with me. So get your weird on.
Yeah, for sure.
Dance your
But
dance.
it was really cool, and a number of one-to-one, personal conversations this week with my class members, and a really good session last night for about an hour after class with one of our tutors, who yeah, was pretty interested in some of the things I had to say during class, various perspectives on, Māoridom, the Treaty of Waitangi, those sorts of things, and just saying, hey, look, 1066, there was a new king in Britain, and he did exactly the same to the native people of Britain, confiscated their lands. So it's actually the same story, but just in a different place.
Well, do you know what treaty? Do you know what treaties are?
I'd love to know.
Well, those are points of consciousness giving up their right to be God.
Right. Yeah.
That's all they are. And the more treaties, the more laws, the more everything else there is. It's just a measurement of how deep we got into the game. Every treaty that was ever done, just tear it up. It's nonsense.
Yeah, but you tell that to the Māori people of Aotearoa.
Well, that's fine. They tell them that they can have their little war. That's what they're going for.
Yes.
The minute you just tear the treaty up, this thing's useless. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen Alice in Wonderland, the new one?
No.
Okay, well, if you can, it's you can download it on icefilms.info. It's a free download. And I highly urge everyone to watch it. If you haven't seen it in a while, or if you've never seen it, watch it. Because what you're going to see is the Queen of Hearts. That's the emotion. And of course she has a big head. That's the ego. And isn't it funny that all of the people around her are all trying to make themselves, ugly to suit the Queen, right? Because she's the one wielding all this power. And when you see her, she is the 5-year-old little screaming bastard in the cereal aisle. Mm-hmm. And at the end, you see people taking their false noses off, their big false chins that make them fat, and their head expanding things that they're wearing. And they start just throwing this stuff off. And then at the very end, everyone, all the red guards and everybody else, they just drop their weapons because they see that the emperor is the illusion.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So if you empower a treaty, this is something you might want to share with them. If you empower a treaty, then you are empowering your own slavery, idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, so the way that it's, put to us is that there was, a certain amount of, rough-neck characters up north, in the North Island here, and, with the whaling, the new booming whaling business that was carrying on at, beginning of the 19th century. And so there needed to be some law and order put in place. So it was for, the law and the order and the good and blah-de-blah-de-blah. But fortunately, because this particular tutor is, he confessed. He said, I'm into all this conspiracy stuff. Like, yes! And he said, yeah, those guys up north, from what he knows, they were getting on really well. They were just doing their thing. And it was the missionaries who had a problem with the boys coming back from the whaling and getting drunk and, shaking up with a local woman for the night. So then it all became, it's a big hellhole, drama.
Yeah, I love these natives that walk around with their, I have Indian status, I don't have to pay tax. And I said, yeah, great. Excellent. I'm so glad to hear that you think that the white man has so much power over you to think that you had to pay them in the first place, dipshit. Yeah,
well, everybody's waking up, huh?
I know. Again, when I see, you gotta be careful with when I'm talking. I'm not saying anything offensive. I'm just stating the truth.
Yeah.
How people take it is going to be determined upon their own polarity, not mine. I see the truth of what it is. If you think that you need a status card, then you have a master. If you have a master, you're a fucking slave.
Yeah.
There's no two ways to put that.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah. Hey, Mark. How are you?
I just wanted to share that what you've done for the last hour is share simple, beautiful truths. And I know those to be the truth because they are so simple truths.
Well, I don't want to make it complicated. We already played that one. Boring.
Can I tell you another story? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I just didn't want to interrupt Mark there. My biggest story involves the earthquake in Wellington that we had on the 21st of July last year. Yeah? Do you know about that earthquake in New Zealand? It was 6.9.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Wellington, of course, is our capital city, so you'll be starting to see the analogies there immediately. But
Battle of Waterloo.
Pardon?
Battle of Waterloo. Keep going.
Okay. So what happened a couple of days beforehand was you met my friend Kerry from down Hawera, who I know is an online friend. And then she and I kind of parted ways because I kind of got some stuff in there that, you know, she was going off on one tangent and I wanted to keep going on this other one. And but however, it was at that time that I knew Kerry, and she had made a very large deposit into her bank account created out of thin air. And all of the people who were aware of this action that she'd done with, you know, the various signatures from the department, so it really was playing in the system, which, you know, was the bit that I didn't like. However, she did do this action and everyone flocked to it. You may have been around to see it, Kate, I'm not sure, and let's not go into that. But the 15 or 20 million people in the world were aware of the action and the amazingness of it, which we also knew. So a day or two after, well, it was the next day after it became public news of what Kerry had done, that quite a number of us Kiwis were online in the same place on one of the groups that I'd set up, you know, for the purpose of connecting us all. And we were there, and it was like, wow! And we were all crying, like, just the amazingness. You know, this is showing the way for us to be free. And all of us were crying, even the fifth person, who was, I hate the word person, our fifth brother, who is a man who lives in Australia, an older gentleman, a Dutch man, and he said, I never cry, but I'm just bawling my eyes out. So it was this really full emotion that was going through everybody. And the four other ladies were trotting out the various heroic, you know, personalities that we have in the country, Sir Edmund Hillary and Kate Shepherd, and, you know, off came all these names, all these distinctive names. And then I just had a feeling of the haka, you know, this haka that our All Black brothers take all around the world, and it's in defiance. And Kerry was reciting it to me, and I was posting it again in full, posting it back to her. And I thought, wow, what does this thing actually mean? I hadn't looked at the translation before, and it's the meaning of it. I am dead. I die. I live. I die. I live. And I thought, oh my Lord, because I've looked a little bit into the 1666 KV Act as well, and while I don't understand it all, and I'd really like to catch Santos on it, yeah, I do know that at around about that time they were making us dead men in law. And here is this haka saying in defiance, I die, I live, like the I live was, you know, punctuated at the end of the sentence. Like, but, you know, you might have thought I was dead, but I'm actually doing the trick on you. And here I am presenting myself as a living being. And there's a reference to the sun, you know, it's the hairy man who, which I don't think, you know, I don't believe that Kerry would be a hairy man by the look of her, but in this verse, the hairy man has gone to the sun and shown us the way, would kind of be the loose translation off the top of my head. So all of that imagery in this 200-year-old haka was really poignant for the time. And so all five of us were sending this haka backwards and forwards, and then we were posting the translations. And I thought, okay, what's on YouTube about this haka? Where are the flash mobs? And I found one in Auckland. And when the kind of mood settles on me, like it you know, I'll be all new agey here and call it a spirit, but there is something that kind of fills me, comes in and through and just kind of sits there, and I know that that's the time to really push my intention behind it. So this feeling came.
Here, let me share a couple of things, okay? Because we're going off on a tangent here that's getting way too little.
No, it's the haka. So if I may cut it down so I intended the haka for all of New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
I intended the haka. The next flash mob I found was in Sydney, Australia, which is another heart of banking, and I just directed, that attention into the heart of the financial system there. And I realised, okay, New York is another big one that I want to go to because, I just do this through my mind's eye and go there and actually do it. And through these YouTube videos doing the haka, I was there, and there was actually a comedian who stripped off, as you do when you do a haka, and did the haka in downtown New York. I thought, you're a champion, you're the boy. So he did the haka, and I just put my intention, because there's no time, there's no space. So as he was doing it, I intended the thought to go right into that heart of darkness, into New York City. And the final one, I thought England is the big one, the 1 square mile city of London there. And there was a huge mass mob haka in Trafalgar Square. And as these 200-300 guys and women around the edges were doing this haka with full intensity, because it's full on energy, and they were going at it. This thing was done 2 or 3 years ago, but I was there, and I just sent like an arrow straight into the heart of the business district in the City of London. And very intensely, and then just held that energy for a bit longer and reviewed the videos, and then by about 4:20, just this feeling, and it was there for a good hour and a half, this feeling, but got to about 4:20 and the feeling started to lift, and then another 20 minutes later it had lifted a lot more, and it was more or less gone. So, and the other ones who had been with me online had also, gone by then. I think they got a bit tired with the game. But because I had this intense feeling, I just knew that I had to stick with the intent.
Yeah, I don't want to cut you short here, hon. I've been trying to get away from the table tonight, and
yeah. So 20 minutes later, I'm sitting here in my chair, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, I've overdone it. I'm feeling all woozy, and then I think, okay, I better check GeoNet just in case, and boom, there it is. And in Aotearoa, we have Papatūānuku, who's our Earth Mother. And, the blood of the ancestors have fallen on this ground, and it's out of this ground that we grow our vegetables and, we eat them. And so my DNA is as much probably a part of the original people of the land because of the cycle, just the natural cycle of human beings being on the land. And so when I felt this earthquake, it's like, oh, Papatūānuku is rolling over. She's actually heard, she's vibrated. She's heard the vibration because it was intense vibration. And the call and the haka were all over the world, to this banking system. So it was pretty interesting that on the newsflash, Wellington's been hit with an earthquake, and it was about 6.5 because it was further distance to Wellington, but at the epicenter it was about 6.9. And I thought, you can't get any better than that. The symbolism of the capital is falling. The capital is falling. It's crumbling, it's tearing, it's being wrenched apart. The capital, of course, the money. And, this earthquake had hit the capital city. So, that's my long story. Thanks for hanging in there. But I did want to tell you that one because that's full of analogy and symbolism. And of course, it was coincidental. I know that. So there we are. I'll let you take the floor again, Kate. Thanks for listening.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Remember, everyone, speakers on your end, close them out. There's an echo in the background. We have about 23 minutes left in the show today. Lines are open. Everyone who's had their hands up, your mic's open. Please chime in. The table is open.
Hi, mate.
Hey, how goes it?
James, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, doing wonderful, James. Thanks.
Good, thank you, mate. You just brushed it off of me, and I'm even doing more wonderful now that I'm speaking with you. So,
hi, James.
Hi. Yeah, sorry. Oh, so sorry. My name's James. Sorry, what was your name? I come in kind of late. Sorry, say again. Oh, is it Ninja? Oh, Ninja, sorry. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, man.
I keep saying I'm going and I'm still here.
Yeah, well, okay.
I got mesmerised. I was in a trance for a few minutes there. I don't know where I woke up, but I found myself still in my chair. So, I thought I'd say hi to you, James. Yeah.
I'm glad I hung in, though, because it's always great to share the energy. And I really apologise. I'm listening on my laptop speaker, and sometimes it's not that clear. So therefore, I do apologise that I confused your voice, Ninja, with.
Please don't be silly. I don't expect everybody to know who I am when I just say hi, James. But no, that's nice to hear you on. And what have you got to share with us today?
Well, hopefully all the energy that's flowing from me and all the good vibrations that I'm feeling from those around, and the gathering of the movement, the people here, is amazing. And very soon, man, we're going to be touching hands with you guys, don't know where that came from, but it sounded good to me. And I'm enjoying the keeping it simple lifestyle.
Oh, yeah, keep it simple. We could do with a bit more of that. James, hold that thought, please, while I do the shout-out for the station, and then I'm going to head off myself. And criticalmassradio.co, I say .co.uk, but .co is clearer for everyone. Please visit the site, check out what we've got on offer, which is free podcasts for all the shows on the UK platform and on this late night platform that Kate runs every night. Everything is free to download, so you can go back as far as you like and listen and catch up from perhaps, where we were not that long ago. Things move very fast around here. And do please donate or subscribe to the station to keep everybody's voice on the air, including your own, because this is a call-in station after all. And if we're not here, you're not here. Lots of love to everyone at the station, all the people at the table, all the new listeners. You're most welcome, and please do, take part, share links, share the word, spread it around, spread love. I do want to say that the Critical Mass team in the UK are actually having an annual conference starting, well, I don't know what time they're starting, but anyway, the information is on isupportcmr.wordpress.com, and that is on Saturday, 1st of March. So you've got plenty of time to arrange your tickets and your travel and all that. If you're in the UK or you feel like travelling, go along, meet and greet, and enjoy a day out with the people at CMR. So with that, I'm going to step back and let you guys carry on and bid everybody a pleasant afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are.
Thanks, Ninja.
Lovely. Thanks, man.
Hi, James. Mike.
Yeah, hey, Mark. Yeah, I find it, we're already, it's 1, 2 o'clock in the night, and I'm not much of a night owl, so I really appreciate it. Yeah, you're breaking up a little there, James. Yeah, breaking up there. Yeah, I just have to come back in. Yeah, so I'm really appreciative of that, and I guess it's a segue into something you and me were talking about earlier, working and living, and waking up to the distinction that most of our lives is spent working or thinking about work or school. Same difference. Or not same difference, same thing. And that's been our focus. And so many times we'll use the word system. That's been our focus of government, politics, whatever shade this distortion falls under. And we thought it was living once again. I'm living. I got this job. I'm working this. And no, you were working. You weren't actually living. And this distinction is coming clearer. And I'm waiting for more people, in some ways, and myself also, to realize this clearer. And this is where true creativity starts flowing, is when we start living. It's
nothing's impossible, Mike. I mean, that's
nothing's impossible, because in this moment, Mark. Yeah.
Kate drove that one home quite nicely tonight. Nothing's impossible.
When you're in this space, when you get into this feeling, why this knowledge comes that nothing is impossible, it's because we have this connection with all that is. And in that, of course, nothing's impossible. And that's one of the good reminders in terms of get your wishes and your dreams in order. Start expressing them from your highest or your deepest heart. And don't be afraid to share them out there. Again, this has kind of been our lesson in terms of our wish. We almost negate our wish right off the bat because it's a wish based in fear instead of love. And so in this way, we question why our dreams don't come true. And it's like, well, if we looked at it, we probably based it in fear. And it didn't come true in terms of that deepest wish that we were, in a way, looking to experience. And now we're remembering how to do this again, where we do get to experience these dreams that were before imagined as an impossibility, and now they're unfolding before our eyes. And this is the power of love.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it can create whatever it is your heart can imagine. And the beauty of this is our hearts don't create from fear. They actually create from love. And this is what we're more and more tuning into. This is our frequency. This is the Emerald Table. And this is home. And inside this contains everything. And you're free to be.
Mm.
So, Mark, we're looking at Friday right now, where you're at. Yeah, we have a saying. In Hawaii. It's called Aloha Friday, and it's Aloha Friday, no work till Monday, and I'm bringing it back to this work again because it's freeing for many people when they work for themselves, where they're in many ways the decision maker. And it can be it can be freeing, or it can be another trap that you lay for yourself. And for many people, they are generally working for another. And when I talk about living, it's really a shift in perspective, where even if you got to spend 5 minutes of enjoyment in your day, whether it was watching the sunset, had a walk in the nature, even if it was 5 minutes, that's you living, and that's where you can expand your life from. That's your base again, where you shift your perspective from considering work as you're living. I mean, I think I've been blessed in many ways to have this perspective, and I thought it was more common. I'd come back to the country and I'd listen and I'd be like, oh, well, no. I would many times just think this was a given. And this is going back to listening to Mark Passio's, what's he titled it, the Natural Law kind of seminar he did, where many of these things, it's where you have a so-called problem, a math problem, which you have to solve, and there's a box that gives you the givens, the known parts of the equation for you to figure it out. And we have seemed to individually and collectively forgot that, to read the instructions, to remember the givens in the equation. And this is coming clearer again. We're waking up to what is common knowledge, which is consciousness, and this common knowledge, which maybe we took it for granted and forgot. Now we're not taking it for granted anymore, and we're accepting it with gratitude. And it's reminding us of the basis of reality. And it's reminding us of what is really not true. And our belief in a government, this is a fallacy. Our belief in authority, this is inherently false. It's a illusion, it's a superstition, and we've been living this out. And it's time to stop. It's time to recognize what these game pieces, so to say, were, and start living. And I was thinking about this when I was coming back to my house today before the show, that my reminder is to have fun. Have fun, laugh. I don't know what it is for each individual. Keep it simple again. Remember to start having fun. Remember to start laughing. This is fun. This is what life's about, is to have fun, have joy, experience. And we've had the contrast of if you limit the lack, the fear. And for many of us, it's now time to experience the contrast of abundance, laughter, love. And when we think of, if we want to term the masses or the sheeple, well, in one big way, they're in their place to allow us, in one way, to stand on their shoulders, to see the light and go, I see it, here it is, guys, and share it.
We've been limited, Mike, and now we're limitless.
Yes. And so this is for everyone.
Mm.
It's almost going to be like a flip in the mind, and I've had this experience, Mark, like anybody else on the table. I've had this experience when I first moved to India, where I got to experience it, and it was a few times where literally my mind flipped. I'm not going to share this story on the air today. But it's
a literal flip, Mike.
Yeah, literally my mind went completely new way of seeing things.
180.
It wasn't an aha moment. It was, I seen something that I never thought I'd see before in this life. Wow. And
the impossible became possible, Mike.
Yes. And in different ways. and like that, my mind was no longer stuck in those old ruts.
The doldrums.
Yeah, you could call it that. The dull drums of life.
The doldrums, when the ship's just floating there, just... Yeah. Come on, there's got to be a bit of wind come along in a minute. And lo and behold, what happened?
Yeah, nature. So there's about 7 minutes left in the show. If anyone else wants to chime in, we got 301. Opening your mic. So who do we got here? 301. I want to say it's Barbara.
Bingo night, Mike. Bingo.
Oh.
Hey, Barbara.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's exactly where I am at bingo, and that was the bonus game, and I refused to bring the noise. Kate, I know she wanted to cuss me out the other day. She was so nice and kind. Hon, you hear a little noise in the back. I know she wanted to say, black bitch, take that noise out of that goddamn telephone and call me back when the coast is clear. So I just went on and hung up. But you said, that's what you said, Mike. That's what you said, Mark. Have some fun. So that's what we do. You right up my alley when you talk about playing. Now, I know how to do that very well.
Cool, man.
It's what we got to remember. We forgot.
Have some fun, baby.
Look,
yes, indeed.
I've spiraled around this sun 44 so-called years this time, and I was walking with my son, and I was jumping from these rocks to rocks, and I thought, wow, this is fun. I'm glad that I don't buy into that so-called middle-aged mindset, or I don't know, wherever that was supposed to begin, and would think this was a foolish or dumb thing to do. I'm like, wow, I'm imagining people who have been here so-called a lot longer than me doing the same thing. This is fun. This is joy. Kick a rock down the street, throw a stick, whatever it may be, put a smile on your face.
Well, that is very good that you're sharing that type of joy with your young child, because that's something that our children really don't get to do, is outside activities of any kind. You know, they are so technical these days with all these new machines that they got to play in-house. That's always fun for them to be outside to get some fresh air and to be out in nature. Since we are trying to teach them to get back in tune with nature, because we were in tune with nature, but our society teaches us to get out of tune of nature. So now that we have a group of us who want to get back in tune with nature, our children can travel these paths with us. Or any child that's around, all of our children, if they're younger than you, they're your child. That's how they've treated me. I was born in 1950, and my girlfriends and them were born in 1949, and they used to call me, little girl, get on back. Little girl, you don't need to be listening to this. And so it makes a difference. It's people who got seniority, they want to be acknowledged, and I appreciate that.
So what are some more fun things we can do, Barbara?
Well, we could name that tune. Like I could tell you, have you ever heard, you may not have heard this song, but it was a song called Some People Say a Man is Made Out of Mud. A lot of men made out of muscles and blood. Muscle and blood and steel and stone. If my right one don't get you, then my left one will, 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in that. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't come. I owe my soul to the company store. You ever heard that before, Mike?
Oh, I know it well, and does that not describe the whole system? You will always be in debt as long as we're playing with this money and this so-called economic model. You will always be in debt to the company, man, because right on that so-called money you have, it says it's a promissory note. This is a debt. So what did you think? Even if you had a pile of it, it's still just a pile of debt and you're owned. Even if you own that company, you are owned. And because that's the nature of that system. And so even our brothers and sisters who think they're free because they own some Fortune 500 company, no, you are owned by the own box you put yourself into. And it might be a little harder to climb out of, but I have good feelings for most everybody. The only ones
all of us lined up as a ladder, it's not hard to get out of the box. Just step on us. I step on you, and you step on Mark, and Mark step on Kate, and before you know it, we're up the ladder instead of in the box. We're out the box.
That's
since we're out here, we might as well act crazy.
All right.
Well, we might as well act accordingly.
It used to be this. I got this lovely book, children's book here, and I don't know the title. We got about 50 seconds left in the regular show. If anyone wants to roll over, we'll roll over for a little while. It's 661-467-2401 in the Skype. Otherwise, thank you all once more. As always, wholeness and balance. Aloha, much love. And so the crabs can either pull each other down or help each other to climb up. And us as a society, as a community of people in this system, it was a dog-eat-dog. It was to pull each other's down.
Well, see,
and so
that's a false. That's a false claim they put on the clams. The crabs are not like that. The crabs the only reason they be pulling each other down. They trying to get out that hot ass water. They not concerned about the crab in front of them. They just trying to get out the water.
Yeah.
You get them out the water, I bet you they will not pull it on each other.
Yeah, so like this, we realize we don't have to. We can help each other. That's how we do it. We come together and we assist each other, and that's what it means to share love. That's what it means to
that's right.
To recognize yourself in another.
That's what we're doing,
right.
Mike.
That's where the smiles come from. That's where the smiles come from. Just knowing that there's others who care and willing to share as yourself. Walter Russell always taught it's better to give and re-give. So he says that if the more you give, the more you get. So I practice that, and so far, so good. You know, I get down to my last. I'm always up in these gambling houses, bingo, and you know that gambling house is made to take people money. Well, they do it well. They get mad all a little bit that I have, but it keeps me enough to keep on coming back and being in their environment. You know, that most of them are in Catholic churches and things. So in the name of Jesus, I'll be up here trying to hit these numbers.
In the name of Jesus, bingo.
Right away.
And now you're telling me Jesus' name was Bingo? That's his true name, Bingo?
B-I-N-G-O, B-I-N-G-O. Yep, that's it. Down the Regis and got in church and made the error and talking about in the name of Regis. He said that those people, and you know his wife that looked him all upside the head and just dropped her head in her hands and said, oh, Lord, there he go again. But he said he truly wasn't deliberately trying to say in the name of Regis. He meant to say in the name of Jesus, but it just came out that way. And it's recorded, you know, and it'll always be in history that he said that type of comment at a nativity program at his church. And I know they recorded it. You know they had to because he's such a famous young older man, you know. But that was cute. And he enjoyed telling the story to David Letterman, too. So that.
So here it is. We were taught, Barbara, that, you know, we know so many good comedians, but it then became kind of certain things you weren't supposed to joke about anymore. You can't joke about religion. Can't joke about politics. It's not politically correct, and you might hurt someone's feelings, or somebody might shoot you, actually. And I used to get that one living in Texas.
Well, you don't have to joke anymore. It's no joke. It's no joke. You're right. It's not a funny thing to be building lies up against with these young children. That's no joke. It's nothing to play with. They need to come out with the reality and tell the truth, because if your children, my children, are running around here with these children believing all these fantasies and nobody has any concrete, evidence of the things that they're saying, you're right. It's no joke. They should come on out with the natural truth so that the peace can become over the land. Because you living a lie, I'm living a lie. I'm gonna make you live my life. I'm gonna make you. You got to do what I say do, or die. Just like, remember that campaign, vote or die. Well, I should be dead because I ain't voted nowhere. I'm not even a registered voter. So they got me. Well, I guess I am dead because I ain't got a dime. I ain't got no money, so they took me out of the economic work. But that's all right. Ain't no new thing. I never been in. I'm female. I always depended on men to take care of me. So like I said, I heard my daddy. And at the time that he made the comment, he wasn't telling me as a child. He was just telling some of the other women that was there servicing him. You all ain't good for nothing but fucking and frying fish. And so I just thought, ooh, I know if I go up and do that, I got the game and gone. But my mother said, no, lady, you're going to learn more than that in this household. So I went on and did it her way. That's why I jumped into this English game. Now, Kate eats up English. I'm afraid to talk English anymore because she talks so bad about it. But Falk and Wagner was ridiculous. I mean, I didn't get my words out of Webster. I got mad out of Falk and Wagner. But Kate talks so bad about words. I'm ready to go mom.
Yeah, we can all use that silence, eh? So
that's what how can we be silent? How can we be obedient and be silent and be still and still be chatterboxes and do, talk shows like this or communicate with each other? That's what's confusing to me. Are we using an oxymoron by saying be still for peace and then turn around and run our mouth for 2 or 3 hours at a time?
I know
explain that to me, somebody.
It's a balance where we're trying to. Well, it's a balance. It's a balance game. When you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's what's the moment calls for.
Like rock to the right, rock to the left, and stay still.
Yeah.
On the scale, say we were the middle point. I don't know. I know that's great. That sounds like an oxymoron to me. But I would like to. I wonder about that. Because I am a talker. And see, I can run my mouth as long as somebody listens.
So, you want to hear a song tonight, Barbara?
All right.
Let's see. See which one for Barbara. I haven't listened to most of Kate's songs yet. I've listened to quite a few of them. So let's listen to one that we haven't heard, that I don't think I've heard.
All right.
Let's see. Oh, I just Like an Angel. Let's play Like an Angel.
Oh, all right.
Somewhere like a dream, your world washed over me and took me far away, so very far away. Made sense of all things wrong, gave hope where all was gone. What do I need to say, really need to say? Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. an angel holding on to me. Somehow you pulled me through, turned faith back into truth completely, so completely. Held strong when others ran, gave my heart a place to stand, and you saved me, more than saved me. Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. And when I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. And when my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me.
All right, Mark.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, so guys, there's still a few lines open. If you want to say something, press 1 on your dial pad, and with that, I have the sun shining here, and I'm sitting outside. I might just head a little bit more further outside. Thanks, Barbara, for coming to the table and shining your light. We love so much the fun and laughter and joy and insight that you bring, and all of us bring when we come to the table. It's beautiful and it's heartfelt. And Mark, you got any words? So something I'll leave you with, before we end the show, is just thinking about the sun again, and the saying, sometimes when I look at the sun, and I'm looking at it right now, and we shared this before, that many times we look at it as a globe, and we can also look at it as a whole, and I mean whole, depending on which way you want to spell it. W-H-O-L-E, it's whole, and H-O-L-E is a hole, like a portal. And this portal through the sun is your heart, and it's in you and me all the time. And when we get fearful, it kind of closes ourselves from this eternal connection. And if we happen to get in those moments, please find something that brings a smile to your face, a little joy in your life, a little laughter you can expand on, and know you're always in your heart. And the sun is shining from you and emanating out and connecting and touching all. And I'm here to express my thanks with all of you for doing that, because I feel you, And with that, much aloha, and we'll be tuning in again soon. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Much aloha.
Aloha.
An hour ago, I came off the show on nobordersradio.co.uk, where James jumped in and Bill jumped in, and Ben was hosting the table there. And we had a wonderful conversation. I'm not sure how many people were tuned in on that one, but just a wonderful conversation of, changing perspectives. You see, and this is what happens. We get so codified into a certain pattern, and it's the patterns we have to break. That's the pa turns, right? That is the intention turns. That's what an attorney is all about. So you become your own no-turn-e, no turn of consciousness with you. Because when you can take a word, and I just did it a couple of times, and change the intent contained within the spell, turn, e, which is a. Now that can be French, to go somewhere. Turn, well, that can be a bird, or it can be a sound, or a direction. And E, of course, in the mirror is 9, which is consciousness. So it's time to turn consciousness, or A as a prefix in English means not. Asymmetric, which means not symmetric. All right, so this is how you change the intent contained within that space, originally only taken for granted as the space of a simple little letter. And the power of the letter kills, or gives life. It depends on whose life you're giving that letter, yours or someone else's. And you change that very simply, where all contracts are made and broken or accepted, and that is in the mind. Go back to contracts, the essay, and you'll see that. Everything that you have decided to do had to first be agreed with spiritually first. If you decide to crack an egg, well, you have to think about picking the egg up, and you have to put the picture in your mind of what your intention is, and that's what you're creating. So you go and grab an egg and you crack it open. As it was so eloquently put earlier, Sheila mentioned it about the egg. If the egg breaks from the inside, it brings forth life, and if it breaks from the outside, well, you've killed it, haven't you? There's a very fine balance there. So this is about writing your book of life instead of living the book of the dead, which is all letters. The letter kills. It's been made very clear. You see, and the fraud contained within this is the game that we're playing. And there are points of our consciousness that are still trapped in that, and that's okay. I call those the intellectual retards. I was an intellectual retard once. That's why I know what it is. You see, I will not claim anything that someone may take as a negative. That's their fault. That's not my intention.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good evening.
Hello.
Go ahead, Mike. Yep.
Hello all. Welcome to the Emerald Table, Kate of Gaia show. And yours truly here. Kate, how you doing?
Good. And it's actually outside the box. It's your show, damn it. Everybody's show, right? I'm just one of the cogs in the wheel, baby. I don't want to get into a whole lot tonight. I just want to share a couple of things with people because I've got some impossible things to dream, because I've experienced impossible things, therefore impossible is not so impossible anymore, is it? And that's where the focus is going to remain. There's not a whole lot more at this level I can show people in terms of how to break spells and how to create them. Again, it all boils down to the pronoun and saying of everything in your reality and which agreement you want to put into any space that is created, any black space that is created in the sigil. That's the space of creation, right? So when you understand that we are in a photo-negative living the illusion of a photo positive, you'll see the mirror very clearly. Right? It's like this. If you take a document and suddenly reverse it from black writing on white paper to black paper or white writing on black paper, you have created far more space than the intendee. So that's a document in the mirror. You see, it's a space that you create in. And if the sigils, let's take just put a dot on a page, a white page, and there's the dot of intention. And contained within that dark is the creation. So if you can shape that into, let's see, what we would call a letter A, we have created the space of the letter A in the darkness of the letter that is created. So that's where the spell is contained, within that darkness, within that creational void. When we put our intention into agreeing that it sounds like this, or sounds like that, or sounds like anything, then we are actually casting our intention into that dark void that was created by another in the form of a sigil. This is the mastering of the space. Not the writing on the page. It's the space I'm interested in, because you can't create in something that's already created unless you agree to it. And that's what the spellings have been all about for me, and breaking this to the point where we're at right now. So I just came off, and I get to be the neutral observer every time to see what someone or who is going to do what with what. You see, when we live in a world full of expectations, well, that's the mitten strings, you see. It's like people that would come to me and say, Kate, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I can honestly say, I've already helped you with that. And if you still don't have the answer, then I'm going to say, well, I like using the mortgage as an example, for anyone that wants help there. And I said, well, use the exact same document you wrote for me. That might, create a little quandary there. That might make you see your mitten strings. So I use the mirror. Okay, well, and people say, well, I wasn't aware of you then. Well, I wasn't aware of you then either. And the only reason people are aware of who and what I am is because I made the effort to help all, you see. And not in the same way that most people are, I used to be I want to wake people up. That's trespass and free will choice. That's trespassing your Christ consciousness to have the experience, whether it be a beautiful one or a shitty one. That's your call. I'm trying to hand out the keys. As I found, I'm not helping anybody here. You see, by empowering you, I am helping me. Why would I not want the rest of me empowered into this state of being, where now we're co-creating, where we've become the spirit of co-creating path instead of the other version of the psychopath. The co can be a duality, or that makes things separate, or bring it together at the same time. And when you find the singularity, the single dot contained within every X marks the spot, then you'll balance it out and you'll neutralize it. And you will not get anywhere until you neutralize. You've got to see it from neutral eyes. New Trinity of all eyes. So by all means, I'll help you with your mortgage. I already did. You just don't have the patience. And I say this very, very lightly, guys. Right? I'm using it as an observational tool, because here's the truth of the matter. If anyone would ever think that I'm out to offend anybody, well, that's your fault, not mine. Because my intention has always been, to a greater or lesser degree, much greater now, the betterment of all. My first experience with that was when I was a kid on the playground and someone was sliding down an ice ramp. This is where it hit me. I recall everything that I need in my experience. And this kid was sliding down an ice slide outside in the winter. It wasn't the summer, of course. You see the redundancy? Anyway. And just as I got to the bottom, they almost fell, but I caught them. So they didn't fall. I thought, that's kind of cool. And I got to tell you, I felt really special. I thought, wow, perfect place to be at the time. But I will not claim anything that I have not experienced. I have experienced what it's like to be that whiny 5-year-old retarded idiot, intellectual retard, screaming in the cereal aisle, when I finally decided that, well, you know what? not getting anywhere. So I got up, grabbed a shopping cart, and grabbed the last box off the shelf. Don't worry, there's another box there, but they're only one at a time. And whether you decide to take the magic key or not, that's entirely up to you. If you're happy with this reality, then knock yourself out. The version of you in this reality will stay here. That's the Ver Shun. That's the truth shun. Or you can have the Ver Psi On, which is the truth of spirit in creation that's mine. So you write the script. It's either a truth shun or a truth created. You will stand in it or you will defy it. And the universe gives you a catch-22. I've covered this many times. When you finally decide to accept reality for what reality is, and its magical kingdom, you don't have to accept that. That's entirely up to you. It's just what I've done. You know, we were talking earlier about what people do in terms of trying to help others. And I showed it very clearly that helping another is very detrimental. It's like I use the example of, you know, someone sitting on a street corner that you walk by and they're hungry. And they ask you, you know, please, you know, do you have, you know, a couple of dollars or something I can eat or whatever? Oh, of course, if I have, I will share. And if I come by that same corner tomorrow and the same individual sitting there and ask me the same question, I'll probably help out again. But I'm going to be a little bit more reserved about it. Because then I'm going to start asking the question, is this something this individual needs or is this something this individual wants? And that's a difference in the Scorpio in all of us, right? If you've got a, you know, sexual reproductive area, you have Scorpio. That's the difference between need and want. And there's a very fine line there. And I can make the allegory simple. Do you want a Ferrari or do you really need one? And then that really is the difference. So when you go out of your way to give someone a hand up, that is the one wish grant. The wishes no longer come until you can grant that wish back in some way or another, whether it's to the individual or to all. I prefer all because it's a lot easier to do that. I act as a conduit in my reality. Things pass through me. They don't stop with me. You know, because there was pavement and they could have got hurt. So I took it upon myself for the rest of that recess to patrol. You know, it was like, it felt good. It felt great to be able to help someone. And funny enough, I wasn't needed for the rest of that recess. But I got to tell you, that feeling never left. And I only had to experience it once. So if anyone is ever offended by things, say, well, that's your fault. You're the fucking retard, not me. You're the one that's judging what I'm saying as being good or bad. What all I'm trying to do is show you how the magic works in benevolence of all. You know, for those that were just offended by me calling them a fucking retard, well, now you see what I'm talking about. Because until you can see the fact that you are a fucking retard like I did, you will never find the mirror of that. You will never see the contrast. You'll be caught in the duality of the psychopath. And you'll switch from one road to the other, and every time you jump over that wall, you will be Humpty on the other side. You will fall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men, they'll just bring a broom and a dustpan to clean you up. So really, this is what it comes down to. This is the individual choice. This is where God only helps those that help themselves. Well, instead of having a look at, let's say, any of the documents I have, the perspective of, whoa, look, I get to, you know, and this is going to trap you. I'm telling you this right now, so you better be aware of this. You're going to get trapped in your own fucking greed. I promise, it will happen. That's when you become agreed. To greed instead of not greed. When you agree with something, you're either not stepping with it. Agree means step. It also it's the etymology root of grade. This is what it means to make the grade, and how all of this stuff ties together. You can see this singularity when you do this long enough. if you approach things from the perspective, and you see, with me, it was always writing things that would help others, and I did it from a very selfish perspective of writing templates. Well, if it works for one, then it'll work for all, so I'm going to write from the perspective of shutting the whole damn thing down. And that was the start of my quest. That's where my experience of the contrast of having this free soul grabbed and trapped and literally thrown to the wilderness. That was my choice. By my actions, I was known. I was taking down the things that were, I saw it from the perspective of keeping not only my family safe, but others, and showing them how to take down a quote-unquote corrupt system. But the corrupt system is the co-rupt. It's a duality, you see. Rupt or rupture is to break. Well, that's either a singularity or a duality.